Okay, so I'd like to start off with a story. This actually happened. My wife and I were walking through an airport, and she pointed out something that she likes. I said, "Oh, that's the bomb." Now, I could have said that's awesome or that's great, but no, I'm in an airport, and I say, that's the bomb. I want to invoke the idea of a mental butler to try to explain why that happened. Okay? Like literal butlers, mental butlers help you accomplish tasks. Specifically, mental butlers bring you thoughts based on whatever stimuli are in your current environment. You can think about mental butlers as disembodied voices that are whispering into thoughts into your mind. Mini-me's that are constantly opining on everything that's going on around you. So when I was at that airport, my butler was whispering to me, "Hey, you're in an airport, you should be thinking about bombs right now." And so I blurt out a 20-year-old cliche that I never even really said in the 90s. We can study the mental butlers in the lab with showing people stimuli outside of awareness. In particular, we can use subliminal stimuli. Let's see what one of those looks like. Let's slow that down so you can actually see what word was presented. So, after people see words related to aggression, they act more aggressively than they would have otherwise. Take a second and think about the implications of that. We are changing our behavior based on the whispers of our mental butler without our awareness and without our consent. Right now, you should be thinking, wow, that's really cool, and wow, that's a little bit scary. And you're right on both counts. What does the butler whisper? Well, most of the time, the butler is whispering us information based on our stereotypes. So if you're talking to one of your professors, your mental butler brings you thoughts based on your ideas about professors. When I'm driving through the Great White North, my mental butler is going to help me prepare to interact with Canadians. However, these whispers can also lead to disasters. Imagine a police officer interacting with an African American suspect getting this whisper. Anything that suspect does can be misinterpreted as a threat by that officer, leading to potentially tragic consequences. Now, we should be outraged and saddened by this. But before we get too self-righteous, realize that most people in our culture have this same racial bias. Even undergraduates. In a simulated policing situation, black and white undergraduates alike shoot armed black suspects more quickly than they shoot armed white suspects. Similarly, white undergraduates mistakenly shoot unarmed black suspects more frequently than they mistakenly shoot unarmed white suspects. So what can we do about this? Well, the most important thing to do is acknowledge that you personally have this bias. Now, that's difficult, that's painful. I mean, I'm certainly not racist, but maybe my mental butler is. That simple statement puts you on your guard. And then your behavior can change based on your conscious beliefs, like everybody should be treated equally, as opposed to based on the whispers of your unconscious mind.